Ann Coulter is the author of 12 New York Times bestsellers, and she is out with yet another one, sure to be number 13, In Trump We Trust, E Pluribus Awesome. Ann, good enough to join us on set to discuss it all. Welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here. It comes out tomorrow, so you're my very first interview.
Then thank you for being here, very first and foremost. Whom would you say you've written this book for?
Different people. One is Republicans who want to defend Trump, the vast number who voted for him, but also a lot of it was for the never Trumpers. And a lot of it was for Democrats and independents and Sanders voters. I mean, as you know, and bless you for reading some of the book. I think it's a lot of fun to read. But this whole campaign has sort of shaken up my world. I never realized how much I hated the old Republican Party. I believed them when they said, you know, no, we really do care about the working class and the middle class, but we just haven't been able to get to them yet. Mm-hmm. But then Trump comes along and says, no, we really have to do something for the working class in this country. And the official version of my party's response is to say, no, we don't. No, we just want to please the business roundtable. Now, I must say, I kind of always knew that about Democrats, at least in the last 20 years. Democrats have become more of a lifestyle party. They're the party of the very rich and government welfare recipients and have left the middle class behind. But I thought my party cared for all Americans, and particularly the middle class and working class. The response of the official GOP, the Washington GOP, was quite an eye-opener for me.
Interestingly, then, if this is to a degree a referendum on the GOP, I've asked many these last months, the rise of Donald Trump coupled with the rise of Bernie Sanders, are we seeing 2016, if nothing else, as a referendum on the two-party system?
Not exactly. I mean, at least with the Republicans, and I wish the Democrats the best of luck. I wish it had been Sanders, though I thought he was better before he ran for president, got trapped in some of the Democratic Party's positions. But we are seeing the people, the voters, ordinary people in, flyover country, against the powerful. I think both parties, I thought it was more the Democrats and the Republicans, are beholden to the business roundtable, to Chamber of Commerce, to their donors, and not to what ordinary people want. Unfortunately, the elites in the Chamber of Commerce also have a lot of control over the media, so you're not going to hear a lot of my perspective on television or in the New York Times.
And yet, your perspective with regard to immigration, the kids can Google it if nothing else. It's out there on YouTube. It's an issue that you argue in the book, but have argued very staunchly, has catapulted Donald Trump to the success that he's felt. Now we're hearing reports, however, just in the last couple of days, that he still, if nothing else, has not yet made up his mind. And it would seem to echo reports from previously from months ago that the New York Times offered about some comments off the record, that he's not made up his mind about a cornerstone issue of his campaign, the use of a deportation force to remove the 11 to 12 million undocumented
30 to 40. And God
I know that
he
30,
will not say that it's 11.
I know that you believe it's far more. I do, though, want to just let you take a listen to some of the things he said about it, and then something that his new campaign manager, Kellyanne Conway, had to say, get you to respond on the other side.
We're rounding them up in a very humane way, in a very nice way. You're going to have a deportation force, and you're going to do it humanely. We have many illegals in the country, and we have to get them out.
Will that plan include a deportation force, the kind that you just heard in that soundbite and that he talked about during the Republican primaries?
To be determined.
To be determined. If he walks back, again, a cornerstone of his campaign, what would that do for your support?
I think this is just more of the media propaganda. This is such a non-story. Look, we know the direction he's going in. We know there's going to be a wall. What I used to hear for half the campaign was, and he secretly told the New York Times there's not even going to be a wall. I mean, of course, there's give and take in Washington. With Hillary, we are getting, as she has said and as Tim Kaine have said, totally open borders, complete amnesty, along with a member of my party or my ex-party. Paul Ryan, Speaker of the House, they are both for granting amnesty to millions of illegals. Hillary says she wants to more than quadruple the number of Muslim refugees she's bringing in. The details of Trump's plans, we're getting a wall. He's going to let ICE do its job. How much he can do without the agreement of Congress, whether that's in Democrat hands or my old Republican Party's hands, that of course there's going to be some give and take and negotiation. I'm quite sure ICE is going to be let free to do its job. But I just think this is an utter tempest in a teapot, and it's only the media could, keep introducing the same news as if this is a breaking news story. Yeah, we don't know the details yet. We know that there's not going to be amnesty under Trump, and we know we're getting a wall.
So, and with regard to the wall specifically, in the book you do argue that perhaps the cry for specifics, policy specifics on the part of Donald Trump is again something that is not necessary, at least perhaps in this election cycle. But isn't it reasonable when you say we're getting a wall, and specifically we're getting a wall and I'm going to get Mexico to pay for it, which is what he has said, isn't it a reasonable question to ask how?
Well, what I'm saying isn't that we don't need policy specifics. It's that has become a substitute for a response to keep demanding more and more specifics. This isn't what anyone wants from a presidential candidate. We didn't want, FDR to tell us how landing craft vehicles worked. We wanted him to tell us we're going to war with Hitler. Those are the policies we're getting, and especially, and I go through in some detail, what other candidates say. And what we get is all these horrid, tired lines that don't tell us anything. It's people are frustrated, and we need to do this, we need to do that. Trump has been incredibly specific. He's going to renegotiate trade deals.
And that's all he said.
Certainly,
I'm going to renegotiate trade deals.
What's Hillary going to do?
Well,
what will any Republican do? Because they never told us. I read through every one of those debates, and what I heard was people are frustrated.
But he has said
and let me tell you how Amazon does business, and the economy has changed.
And you believe we're definitely getting a wall.
How? Oh, of course.
So, how? How is he going to get Mexico to pay for it?
That's the one thing he's actually given us specifics on repeatedly, over and over and over again.
Getting Mexico to pay for it.
Yes.
Okay.
It was in his first policy paper, and then, because apparently no one in the media has access to an internet modem, he put out a separate policy expressly on how Mexico pays for the wall.
I wish we had a lot of time. I want to get your thoughts quickly, though, on the shakeup in the Trump campaign, senior management. Paul Manafort out and Steve Bannon in, along with Kellyanne Conway. You also devote, and you've mentioned it earlier in this interview, it's been a referendum to a degree on the GOP establishment, and you take pollsters to task specifically. What then do you make of your candidate hiring a pollster to run his campaign?
Well, Bannon,
somebody who is shot from the hip and been unpredictable and played to a strength.
I think I'm quite confident, as Trump himself always says, he is still the campaign. What I was happy about was, it's mostly campaign consultants I go after, and that whole, the Washington establishment. I think they destroyed the other Republican candidates who wouldn't tell us our positions on anything.
Specifically to Donald Trump's hiring of Kellyanne Conway.
Well, specifically what that meant was it was Steve Bannon and Kellyanne Conway. You keep sticking in the pollster without mentioning the guy who has nothing to do with the Washington establishment. It moved a political consultant out, and I have nothing personal against Paul Manafort, but I did think it was a disaster having any consultant move in. A pollster isn't as bad as a consultant, and it was hand in hand with Bannon, but I know Trump is going to be at the head of the campaign.
Book's out tomorrow. E pluribus awesome. We went long.
In Trump we trust.
In Trump we trust. Ann Coulter.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.